Hollywood is a magical place that holds a spot for no one. Even the most famous and beloved actors who seem to be irreplaceable might lose it all due to a scandal. In today's video, we talk about the actors who lost their roles after having been involved in some serious controversy. Some of them have managed to get their career back on track, and some got their acting future ruined once and for all. Before we continue, subscribe to Rumour Juice YouTube channel. Be sure, we have a lot of interesting stories to share.
With your words, words can kill. But I lost everything. Reputation, everything.
Johnny Depp. Fantastic Beasts will never be the same. Warner Brothers has announced that Mads Mikkelsen is set to replace Johnny Depp as the notorious Dark Wizard in the third movie of the franchise. The good news is, we have no doubt Mikkelsen can nail this role. The bad news, Depp has not left voluntarily. The studio asked the 57-year-old to resign after he had lost the libel case against The Sun in a 2018 article that referred to the actor as a wife-beater. This is all in connection to the domestic abuse allegations posed by his ex-spouse Amber Heard. Shortly after the trial, the studio moved quickly to distance itself from Depp by ditching him from the series. The Hollywood star will reportedly still get paid over $10 million for the third movie, despite having only filmed one scene. It is said that Depp had a so-called pay-or-play contract, which provides for the full compensation whether or not the film is made and even recast. It looks like for Warner Brothers, paying the full contract price was less of a burden than keeping the actor and putting the movie's success on stake. Kevin Spacey. It was one of the most epic scandals in Hollywood, with Kevin Spacey having turned from one of the most successful representatives of the industry into its outcast. In 2017, Anthony Rapp claimed that when he was 14, Spacey invited him to his apartment for a party, carried him to a bed, and laid on top of him. Following the announcement, several more men came forward with allegations of sexual misconduct against Spacey. One of them said he had been in a sexual relationship with Spacey when he was 14 that ended after an attempted rape. It became the beginning of the end for Spacey and his career.
My job, many of my relationships, my standing in my own industry were all gone in just a matter of hours.
Even though he pleaded not guilty and showed determination to prove his innocence, the industry was deeply troubled by numerous reports. Soon, Spacey's iconic character on the House of Cards, genius, manipulative politician Frank Underwood, got killed in the Netflix series.
It's not beginning the story that I fear. It's not knowing how it will end. Everyone is fair game now.
His film Billionaire Boys Club, shot before the sexual assault claims, got a record-breaking low of just $126 on its opening night in US cinemas. And yes, you heard it right, $126. Megan Fox. The young and rising Hollywood star got in a very awkward situation which she actually generated herself. Hardly did she expect, however, that one interview would literally ruin her career. By that time, Fox had already starred in Transformers and its sequel, following which the actress and model became a household name. The young star was set to appear in the third installment, Transformers: Dark of the Moon, but then she had the already mentioned awful interview that landed her in a lot of trouble. She compared director Michael Bay to notorious and infamous dictators like Napoleon and Hitler. Fox, who was 23 years old then, said, "He's like Napoleon, and he wants to create this insane, infamous madman reputation. He wants to be like Hitler on his sets, and he is." She continued, saying that although he was rough on set, she enjoyed his, quote, "hopelessly awkward personality. He has no social skills at all, and it's endearing to watch him." The interview spread like wildfire, and soon Fox was replaced in Transformers by model Rosie Huntington-Whiteley. Ryan Gosling. Gosling is, for a reason, considered one of the hottest hunks in the American film industry. His amazing shape also deserves a special mention.
I am here to bang the hot guy that hit on me at the bar.
Jacob.
Why are we pointing this out, you might ask? Well, wait for it. In 2010, the actor revealed that the audience didn't see him in The Lovely Bones because the movie director Peter Jackson fired him for, ready? For being too fat. Gosling did gain weight for the film, but it was a purposeful move which Jackson didn't appreciate. I was 150 pounds when Jackson hired me, and I showed up on set 210 pounds. We had a different idea of how the character should look. I really believed he should be 210 pounds. To reach his weight goal, Gosling was drinking melted ice cream whenever he was thirsty. So, when he showed up, they told him that he looked terrible. And just like that, Gosling, as he joked himself, ended up, quote, fat and unemployed. And the role of a grieving father famously went to Mark Wahlberg. The actor blames lack of communication with Jackson for the mix-up that led to his risky character work going to waste. Shannon Doherty. The actress was shining bright like a diamond in several highly successful shows of the 80s and 90s, including Beverly Hills 90210, where she portrayed Brenda Walsh. Due to her great portrayal of the iconic character, Doherty instantly rose to fame and remained on top of the stardom throughout 4 seasons.
In 1990, Shannon Doherty landed her breakout role in the runaway hit teen drama Beverly Hills 90210.
Her character was the main focus of 90210, and her abrupt departure surprised fans. Still, there seemed to be one particular altercation that became the final straw that contributed to her dismissal. Actress Tori Spelling revealed in her autobiography that the show stars Jenny Garth and Shannon Doherty once had a fist fight. Still, reacting to this statement in 2014, Garth denied either of them going physical. She said the fight started after Doherty pulled her skirt up. She said both were ready to fight, but due to the swift intervention of security, things didn't turn violent. However, it was one of those things that eventually made the showrunners fire Doherty. It is worth noting that Doherty was later fired from another popular series, Charmed, following her ongoing rift with co-star Alyssa Milano. Despite all the drama that was present at the time in connection with Shannon's dismissals, years later all the actors involved in it hold no grudges against each other and mostly speak about one another with great warmth and respect. Terrence Howard. When you land a role in one of the most successful franchises the world has ever seen, you stick to it. And this is exactly what Howard meant to do with his part in Iron Man. In addition to that, pretty much everyone associated with the movie has become an integral part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So why didn't Howard return as War Machine in Iron Man 2? It was the actor himself who set things straight when he shed the light on the situation during one of the late-night shows. Howard said that, according to the initial deal, he had been promised a particular amount of money for the second movie. They came to me with the second and said, look, we will pay you 1/8 of what we contractually had for you because we think the second one will be successful with or without you.
I forgot, I didn't know that it was not a mutually binding contract. It was only beneficial for them. Yeah. They could bring me back or not. They can honor it or not.
The offer which Howard could not accept. According to Rolling Stone, the day after Marvel and Howard fell out, the studio was already negotiating with Don Cheadle, who would become the next War Machine. Mark Salling. Salling was a highly appreciated and loved actor known for his role of Noah Puck Puckerman on Glee. He was filming the miniseries Gods and Secrets when in 2015, horrifying things surfaced about the actor and completely ruined his career and life. Salling was arrested for possession of child pornography. Prosecutors say he had 50,000 images of underage children. He pleaded guilty to the charges. The miniseries executive producer announced Salling's removal from the project, adding that he would be personally covering all the expenses connected with reshoots of the scenes featuring the troubled actor. In 2018, during the time he was awaiting sentencing under his case, the police found Salling's lifeless body. The 35-year-old ended his life by hanging. Janet Hubert. Hubert, who originally portrayed Aunt Viv on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, was fired from the series after the 3rd season because she didn't get along with the show star Will Smith. The actress blamed Smith for her dismissal and kept publicly bashing him on various occasions. The feud between the two lasted for 27 years. And only in 2020, when the series cast reunited in a 75-minute special, the two had a very candid and emotional conversation. Hubert disclosed how she was going through serious personal drama at the time and spoke about her abusive marriage. Will talked about how his youth and learning to deal with his rapidly increasing fame led him to make decisions during that time that he now regrets.
But I felt it was necessary for us to finally move forward.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that I have blasted you to pieces.
The former co-stars ended up sincerely apologizing to each other. All the controversies that have been boiling for years are over now, and it seems like the best thing two adult people can do in such a situation. That's all for today. Thanks for watching, and be sure to come back for more videos.